Hello, can you believe it? It is another Monday. It is so hard to believe. We just came off Mother's Day. So, to all of you mothers that are listening in, I hope you had a wonderful day being honored and celebrated yesterday. Thank you for joining me. I'm Rita Ernst. I am the author of Show Up Positive, and this is your Monday Minute. We're going to talk about one Show Up Positive spark that I am inviting you to practice this week. And the word I've chosen for you is receive. And the setup for this word receive is really in the context of listening. And if you've read the book, it's full of stories from my experiences working with people just like you. And I have one of those to share today. So I am working with two teams who are coming together, forming into one team, and they have some different practices and procedures and ways of doing things that are making it a little bit complex in terms of really finding their footing as a team. And why it is so complex is the listening. So the teaser to this particular episode is your listening getting in the way of your hearing? And that may seem contradictory because we think, oh, listening is how you become better at hearing. But it's not true when you start from a place of listening to only pay attention to what you already know or to confirm your experience or the thought that you already have in your head. And I see this playing out over and over again. People are tripping over this issue in this team formation because they have it in their mind that the way they are accustomed to doing things is the best way or the only way. They're not really showing up into that conversation ready to receive anything back from the other person. And in order for us to really be listeners that hear, we have to be aware of two different dynamics that are at play. One of those dynamics is what the other person's intention is in sharing information with us. They may be trying to convince us of something, they may be trying to get our attention, they may be looking for a sounding board, they may be looking for some kind of confirmation about what they already know. They may be sorting through and just talking out loud. There's all kinds of reasons that people engage with you in conversation. And the listening that they're looking for is heavily dependent on what their intention is in sending the information. So, in order to receive it, you have to intuit or be aware a little bit or be listening or paying attention to what is the intention. So often our kids come to us and they're telling us something and we think it's our job to fix it. So we think their intention, or spouses, this happens with my spouse all the time. The intention in sharing is to get information about how to fix it or to activate in some way, when really the intention is only to share and just have a chance to process and let it out loud be spoken without the other person being asked to take action. So when you jump in and take action, sometimes it's not received the way that you intended it to, or you're caught by surprise, right? So, this is all the miscommunication that happens in that receivership. So, we've got to intuit what the other person's intention is so that we can then receive accordingly. Or if we are altering the way we're receiving things, we're asking permission before we do that. So, in the example, of these well-intentioned team members, they are already listening for confirmation. What they're seeking and sharing something is confirmation that their way of thinking about things are correct. And that is not the most open way of communicating, but we're all guilty of doing that. So, as a receiver, what they're looking for is for you to actually at least play back that you've heard what they had to say. And I was just looking this up. It is almost the 25th anniversary of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I quote this book all the time. But, one of those 7 habits 25 years ago was seek first to understand and then be understood. That's the receivership piece. So you have to set aside what you are already holding to be true temporarily, knowing that it's always there for you to access, to really allow yourself to be open and to receive what the other person is offering to you. And some of us are better at that than others, but most certainly you do not have to agree to receive. You can say, I hear that. I understand how you got to that place. Then you can offer, once you've confirmed understanding, you can say, I would like to offer an alternative. Would you be open to hear that? Right. And then we can get into a deeper, a more connected conversation where there is listening happening in both places. And we are actually hearing the other person and being heard. And the other person is feeling heard and therefore more open to hearing you as well. So I hope these tips are helpful to you. I really want you to think of this week about in conversation, what is your position as the receiver? Are you open and attentive and listening, or are you confirming? And how is that impacting your ability to really connect and move forward from whatever the issue or conversation is intended that you are participating in? So, if I can be of any help, hit me up. If you find this valuable, let me know. Jump into the comments. I'm so happy that you joined me today for this Monday Minute, and I hope you will share it with others because this is such a fundamental part of overcoming our biological tendencies that we all have to attentively and deliberately work on regularly. So, really work on how you're being a receiver so that you are truly hearing the message that the other person is laying down and not just listening for what you already know to be true. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again next week. Have a fabulous week.